Welcome back to another Stitches and Scribbles podcast. This is going to be our February podcast? Yes, February podcast. I am filming this in mid-January. Today is January 13th because, as many of you know, I'm a teacher and we are planning on starting hybrid in the next 2 weeks. So I'm anticipating my workload very suddenly and sharply increasing. So yeah, that's why we're filming this now when I have time and I'm still at home. And I'm actually on my lunch break right now. So the fact that I have time to film on my lunch breaks is a blessing right now. So I'm going to continue to use it for as long as possible. But let's jump into the stuff I'm going to show you today. I have a whole bunch of whips. I have some finished objects. And I have some yarn to show you. So let's actually start with our finished objects from this month. Some of these I finished right after winter break was done, so really early January. But I had a whole bunch of whips going for December and early January that I kind of finished all at once. So there is a huge number of finished objects here, which I'm really excited about, but also, like, wow, I did a lot of crafting over break and not a lot of anything else. So, do with that what you will. Let's get into the finished objects. Some of these are things that you'll see in videos. The first one, which is a video, is the tiny dog sweater I made. I actually still have not given it to the person that it's going to, but I'm really excited to do so. I love how this turned out. It was a really easy tutorial, and you can check out the tutorial on my channel. It is knit with a crochet trim that is optional, so if you're looking for an easy knit project and maybe starting your first crochet detailing, that would be a great tutorial for you to check out. My second finished object is a baby blanket, and this was actually a scrap baby blanket. I'm trying to get all of the color in one shot because it's really big, but I took all of my pastel kind of thin yarn and combined it into one baby blanket, and I am so happy with how this turned out. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I did string 2 strands of each, not 2 strands of each color. I stranded 2 colors together at every time, wow, I can't talk today. It's been a really long day and it's only noon. I stranded 2 colors together at a time. So for each stripe, you can see there's actually 2 colors there. So I started with purple and gray. The gray ended, so purple and dark blue. And then when my purple ended, I had a blue variegated. And I went into teals, greens, yellows, oranges, corals, and a little bit of pink at the end. So I think that this is gorgeous. This might be one of my favorite baby blankets that I have ever completed, and I'm really proud of it. The next thing I finished is actually also a baby blanket with a yarn I have had in my stash forever that I hated working with. This yarn is very fiddly. I'm not going to pull any ends out and show you, but the yarn as it came was 3 strands of like thinner than embroidery floss yarn. So in order to use it, I actually triple plied it using the chain ply method because it was so tiny that you needed to do a million stitches in this very fiddly yarn that split really easily. So I figured if it split really easily, I'd rather do a big project with fewer stitches with the chain ply than a tiny project that was going to take forever. This also was all one skein of yarn, and each color band was really long. So if I had done one single project with it, it would have had to be huge. So this was what I landed on. It is a baby blanket made from a solid granny square. I can unfold it to show you a little bit more. But it started with orange, and because it's that like multi-stranded, of the 3 strands, we got to a point where one of the strands was teal, then 2 were teal, then all 3 were teal, then one blue, two blue, all blue. So that's how the color shift happened. I think it turned out pretty. I'm never going to buy this yarn again. This is one that I purchased off of Amazon, and the brand was called Yuzu or something like that. It's in one of my old podcast videos, but there was an error in delivering the yarn, and then it took forever to get here, and then when I got it, it like was kind of a pain to work with. I did make another project with it where I made a shawl for my mom that I did not chain ply it for, and that shawl really did take forever. It was worth it because it was really pretty. That one was white, royal blue, and navy, but never again is what I'll say to that. I hate yarn that splits really easily, and that definitely split a lot. The 3 strands weren't even like bound together at all or twisted around each other, so they just like floated away from each other all the time. So anyway, it's done. I don't have the yarn anymore. It's completely used up on this one project. So hopefully whoever gets this baby blanket will appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, because it was a lot. Up next, I have another one that is a tutorial on my channel. This is my Dwarf Shawl. I'm not going to unwrap the whole thing because there's a whole video for it, so you can go see it there. But this was done using a welted rib stitch, and I'm forgetting what the yarn was right now. I remember the color name was Blue Ridge, but I think it was Red Heart Barcelona. Maybe it's not Red Heart. Barcelona in Ridge Blue or Blue Ridge, something like that. You can check out the other video to see it. But I've worn this shawl a couple times now, and I love how it looks. I love the colors. Everything about it turned out great. And this was part of my Dungeons and Dragons series, so you can find it on my channel under the name Dwarf Shawl to get the full tutorial. It should be out already by the time this podcast airs. So that's that one. Next one is one that you probably saw if you follow me on TikTok, but I made a kind of crescent circle shawl with a yarn from Hobie that I was really excited about. So this, I don't remember, this was a Marley Bird pattern, I believe, for a crescent shaped shawl. So I followed the Marley Bird pattern up until I got to the end because I was getting bored, and then I decided to do some really simple lace stitches on the end. So I did, and I will actually be including this lace stitch in an upcoming tutorial, but it's a really easy yarn over knit 2 together pattern. So I did like 2 rows of it, and then a couple rows of garter stitch, and then 4 rows of it, couple rows of garter stitch, and then finished off the shawl with like 8 to 10 rows of the lace. So I really like how the edging turned out. This yarn is gorgeous. I'm so happy that my camera is picking up all the colors. The base of it is a really deep teal, but it has those kind of subtle stripes of white and gold and like a mauve-y purple and different shades of the teal. So I'm so glad that my camera is picking that up for the most part. It's probably because it's really sunny out and I'm near a window. But I really love the colors. However, the shawl doesn't really lay flat when I wear it, which was kind of disappointing. So I'm going to have to play with how to wear it, especially because I like to wear my shawls as like oversized scarves sometimes, and I think the crescent shape was not really ideal for that. So I'm definitely going to have to play with it to figure out how I want to wear it. But I think that the colors turned out really beautiful, and I love that I took the chance on that lace edging because I think it was really worth it. So yeah, you probably saw that one on TikTok a lot for my break knitting. My phone will not be quiet. This is how you know you work with a bunch of teachers, because they're all on group chats and the texting is unending. So that was my green shawl. Next one, I did a Virus Meets Granny shawl in this really deep burgundy color. I'll pull it out so you can see some of the stitching. This is a Hobby Lobby yarn. I'm not remembering which one it is, but it's probably in one of my old yarn hauls. I bought this yarn because I'm going to be a bridesmaid for my friend's wedding, and the wedding was supposed to happen already, but you know, COVID. And the dresses are burgundy. The wedding was originally supposed to be in November, so I said, hey, I'll make a shawl so that maybe then I don't have to bring a big heavy coat. I also apologize for the trash pickup that is happening outside my window. Today is just a day of weird noises, but we're getting through it. Anyway, so the wedding was supposed to be in November, so I figured I'd make a shawl. The wedding's now going to be in July, and where I live probably won't need a shawl in July for a wedding. But I had the yarn, so I made it anyway, and I'm really happy I did because it turned out really, really pretty. And yeah, I love this color. I love wearing this one as an oversized scarf for winter outfits. It turned out kind of Christmassy too. So yeah, real happy with that. Next shawl was actually also a Virus Meets Granny, but I chain plied some mandala yarn. I believe this was in the colorway Harpy. And this is actually a prayer shawl that is going to a family member, but I wanted it to be really thick and squishy so that it would be nice and comforting for her. But it's the same stitch pattern as the other one, Virus Meets Granny. My last finished object, I have really been loving the pom-pom hats lately, so I made myself a blue one. I have like a pink, I have a one that's like teal and orange stripes, and I think I have another one somewhere, so I'm just going to collect them in all the colors, and then I will always have whatever color I want to wear. So this one is a slip stitch band to make that ribbing, and that is a crochet stitch, and then I did 2 Nijin simple stitch for the rest of the hat and added a pom-pom on top. This is pretty much the same as my hat from a rectangle tutorial I posted in December, I think. It was kind of the same idea. You can see the seam going up the back. But yeah, just a rectangle to make a nice slouchy hat. That's it for my finished objects. Before I move into whips, I wanted to explain a band-aid on my finger. So again, if you follow me on TikTok, my yarn shelf completely fell over while I was sitting at my desk one day, and I decided to reach out to try to catch it, which I really shouldn't have because it fell on my bed, and by catching the shelf, all the yarn still fell off, so all I really did was prevent the shelf from hitting the bed, not even the floor, because of the angles that everything is at. But I reached out to grab it and I broke my nail pretty badly. The weird part was that it didn't hurt when I broke it, but I know that if I tried to like pull off the broken piece, it would hurt really bad and I would have exposed skin from my nail bed. So you'll probably see the band-aid in a few tutorials. It's really just on there to keep my nail from catching on things because I don't want it to break further. But it cracked like from the side into the nail bed. So I'm just letting it grow out. It probably won't take that long because my nails grow really, really fast, but that's why you will probably see a band-aid in a bunch of tutorials and videos for the foreseeable future until it grows out. Wow, that garbage truck. I'm gonna pause for a minute and come back when the truck leaves, and I'll see you soon. Okay, I think the truck is gone. Knock on wood. I think the truck is gone, so we can continue with our whips, all the things that I'm currently working on. First off, in my cute little basket, I have my next Dungeons & Dragons pattern. If you have watched other podcasts, you have seen this one before because I have been working on it forever, but I finally finished the main piece. I only have to do the pockets, and I'm so, so happy. I don't know why this pattern was such a struggle for me. I think it's because it was a stitch pattern that was just easy enough that it was kind of mindless, but not mindless enough that I could do it without looking, because it's a moss stitch knit. I think also, and I don't know why this happens to me, so let me know if you're the same way, but I really like variegated yarns and using multiple colors because I can kind of see my progress as I'm working. So maybe it was because it was all one color and a very like, it's not a boring color, but a neutral color. But it took me forever to work on this and to even want to work on this. So I'm really glad I'm done with the main body of the piece and can work on the pockets. This is going to be rectangular pocket shawl. It's part of my Dungeons & Dragons series, as I think I just said, and it's called the Human Shawl, and it will be up next week from when this podcast posts. So you can look forward to seeing that then. My next whip is something that I started because I was procrastinating on the Human Shawl and I wanted to work on something bright and colorful. So I have this. This actually was supposed to be a yarn haul for this month, but then I started using it. So I ordered Lion Brand mill ends on, what website did I order it from? From the Lion Brand website. I did a Lion Brand order. So this is the Lion Brand mandala in the color Sirens. I ordered 2 packs of their mill ends, which include 3 skeins for each pack. And it's supposed to be random skeins, but they sent me 6 of the same one and they all look pretty complete. So I think I got 6 skeins of the same yarn for way cheaper than what it was supposed to be, because I think it was $10 for 3 mill end skeins, and I think these normally are close to $10. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not on the cheap side of yarn, at least for what I consider to be the cheap side. So I decided I needed to do a whole big project. So I have started a cardigan. I have a square. This is the back, and this is the only piece I have been working on so far. So I wanted kind of a lacy square for the back, and then I'm continuing it with single crochet for the rest of it, and the rest of the cardigan is also just going to be single crochet because I wanted a little thicker, but I wanted that really pretty lace effect in the back. So that is a, for the most part, normal granny or filled in granny square pattern, except every 3 rows I did a row of filet double crochet. So double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and then double crochet, so that I got all of those little eyelets in there. But this was my polar opposite project from the Human Shawl because it's very bright, very colorful, lots of stripes, completely different way of working on it because it's crochet and not knit. So this was my distraction project. So you will definitely see some more of this in coming podcasts. It's not going to be a tutorial, this is just for fun, but I'm really happy with how it looks so far. If you're wondering why I was pulling the skeins apart, it's because I'm trying to match up the stripes so that it goes in order. All that stuff. Alright, my next whip is also something that I started because I didn't want to work on the Human Shawl. Don't judge me. This yarn was in one of my old yarn hauls. It's the Paint Box Chunky Pots. And I think this color is called Vintage. Gotta look at the yarn band. Yep, Vintage. And I just knocked a ball of yarn. It's rolling across the floor now. Oh well. In the color Vintage. So this is just going to be a pullover sweater because I wanted something kind of fun and easy to work on while I was home during break. So I did complete one whole side of it. I'm not going to dig it out because it's underneath all of the unused yarn in that basket. But yeah, I'm excited about this. It's going to be a really long sweater, like kind of tunic length. So is the cardigan I just showed you. I want that one to be really long as well because I really like long sweaters because then I can wear leggings with them. Not to work, but for other things. I like the whole big sweater and leggings combo. So 2 sweaters in progress right now. My next one is one that also was a little bit of a yarn haul because I realized I was running out of supplies. So I'm going to get the yarn out first and then show you the project. So I don't have a hook attached to this project right now because I'm using a size 4 hook for like a million things. But this was started with 2 different yarn cakes, and I'm doing 2 rows of each cake, striping them back and forth, which was a really cool idea to start with. They were both the Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel Cotton, one in the color Woodland Wisp and the other color, I don't remember what it was called. Let me look. I was using Woodland Wisp and Fall for Frosting were the 2 colors I was using. So Fall for Frosting is the kind of purple, dark blue, light blue and yellow stripe, and then the Woodland Wisp, which you can see here, is blue, brownish gray, gold, green, and the dark blue again. So I realized that I was probably going to need another skein of each, because at the point I'm at now, I'm almost out of both of my original cakes. But they didn't have more of the purple striped cake at my Hobby Lobby. They were completely out of it. And on the day that I went, I was being really stubborn, so I just got a solid purple one instead and figured that'll look fine since I'm striping back and forth anyway. Just half of it, every other stripe will be purple. That's fine. I'm gonna ignore the fact that it's not the same purple as the original one, but you know, it'll be fine. It'll be a very quirky, eclectic looking triangle shawl. It'll be fine. Yeah, everybody has a project like that, right? Where you had to change colors halfway through because you didn't plan ahead and get enough yarn to begin with, right? That happens? Okay. Next up is my current Stash Buster project. I know I've shown big squares of my neon bright one before. That one's almost done. I'm just sewing it up, but I'm not going to show that one in this video because it's in huge pieces all over my living room floor, and they're very big and very heavy, and I don't want to move them. So I'll show you the current one though. I took all of the yarn scraps that were kind of in the colors of my living room, and I am making hexagons with those, so I have quite a few already. Missed two. So I've got some sage green, or mid green, whatever that is, some combination ones with some dark green, some kind of teal marled yarn, lots of colors, some burgundy, lots of burgundy, and there's more burgundy where that came from. This is leftover from the Crescent shawl that I showed you. Got a couple of those. Some kind of seafoam teal. Some dusty rose. This is from my rectangle cardigan tutorial that I posted a while ago. It was one of my first videos. Some cream and some cream and the more of the teal. So all of my yarn scraps that were kind of in the burgundy, dark green, and neutral-ish tones all went in that scrap basket so I can use them for this blanket. Before we finish with the podcast today, I've got a couple of exciting announcements for upcoming videos. I already said that I would be posting the human shawl in just a week or two from when this podcast is being posted, so you will get another D&D tutorial. I'm also going to post my March bullet journal, and I have a crochet along / knit along that I'm going to start next month. I had been looking for a while for a project that could work as a crochet along, knit along, and I actually picked a project that works as both. So knitters, crocheters, Tunisian crocheters, get ready because this craft along is going to work for all of you. And especially if you're looking to try a new skill, you'll be able to incorporate all three if you choose, or just one. So you can look for an announcement video about that project. I also have a yarn haul that kind of relates to that project. Like I said, I ordered from Lion Brand and got the mandala mill ends. But I also got some of the low tide yarn. I got, how many did I get? 5 skeins each of both of these colors. So one is in the color Palm, which is kind of a nice green, and one is in the color Driftwood, and both of those will be used in that project as well as another color, but I haven't decided which one yet, so I'm not going to show you. I'm debating between a couple. And the other thing I got from Lion Brand that I'm really excited about and have absolutely no clue what I'm going to use it for yet is the Lion Brand Glow. I ordered 3 of these. This is the color Natural, and this is Glow in the Dark yarn. So this will be saved for something very, very special. It might be saved for a Halloween tutorial. Not sure yet. I think that's it for announcements, for yarn haul, all my projects, and I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you're excited for new stuff. I certainly am, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.